want to start off by first thanking all of our district attorney, our sheriff, and all of our chiefs for being here. So, really I also want to recognize some special people for being here. We have Naval Mayor Melinda Barry, Rodriguez. So thank you all for making that. And I also want to thank our sponsors of today's program, All Pro Electric, National Grid, Norwood Insurance, and Pride Star Trinity EMS. So I want to thank you all for Norwood Insurance is going to be here today. I just want to mention they have a special going on their website right now, so make sure to check that out also. But with that being said, I just want to mention a couple of upcoming programs with the Merrimack Valley Chamber before I turn it over to our speakers today. The first thing I want to mention is that on 1 week from today, we have our annual Taste of the Merrimack Valley. It's going to be a great program. We have over 25 restaurants participating. Once you get in the door, all the food is complimentary, so don't miss out on that. Some great restaurants participating from each community in town. It's all taking place 1 week from tonight. The Taste of the Merrimack Valley at the Doubletree by Hilton in Andover. So if you want more information, you can find more of those sheets out there. Check our website as well. A couple other quick announcements I'm going to mention that is that on October 22nd, we just confirmed our annual Open Business Conference. You'll be seeing more details on that shortly. We also have a great energy conference coming up that will be confirmed very shortly as well. So a lot of great programs on top of all the network events, including the one this Wednesday. And our Veterans Program will also be coming up in November, so you'll be seeing all those notifications shortly. If for some reason you are not receiving our emails as well, we just changed our email provider. If you're not receiving our emails, make sure to let me know as well. I want to make sure that you're all connected. So with that being said, I'm going to turn over to our first speaker of the day, our District Attorney, Paul Texel. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back here. I enjoyed this the last few years, and thank you to the Chamber for sponsoring, having the police officers and sheriff and myself here. I'm a great believer in all of us working together to make healthy communities, and it's certainly what the folks up here at the head table do, contribute to having healthy communities. Thank you to the Chamber. It's been a difficult last few years in law enforcement and for district attorneys and sheriffs. Everybody knows that it's been a very high temperature. There's been a lot going on. And I want to say first and foremost to the gentlemen who are here to my left, the sheriffs and the chiefs, it's been an absolute honor to work with these people. The highest of integrity, exceptional leadership. I always say we're very blessed here in Essex County to have the folks that we do. The men and women of law enforcement have done extraordinary work, and I personally appreciate it, particularly having had a long career in law enforcement as well. So what I thought I would do today is just pick a few things that have been rising to the top of our priority level at the DA's office, and then a little bit about law enforcement. We certainly had challenges at the DA's office in Essex County. If anybody reads the newspapers and sees in the media some of the challenging cases that we've had. One of the things that I think is so important of why we are here today is because you are the leaders of the community. Business folks. I gave a talk a couple of years ago at the annual Salem Mass Chamber event, and it was thanking different businesses, and I actually used my few minutes to talk about business leaders, chambers of commerce, taking a leadership role and helping to really make that healthy community they talk about. And that's part of the reason why I think it's important what we're doing here this morning. Some of the challenges that we do have been coming to us by the courts. I just picked two cases, very recent cases that have been very challenging for us. The first one is what we call Rule 14 discovery. That may not mean anything to non-lawyers, but the fact of the matter is it has caused us an extreme amount of work. Discovery, in very simple terms, whatever evidence we have, we turn over to defense as it should be. It's a robust process, but there are so many things that the court has put in place. And the downside is the sanction. If we miss a deadline, literally by a day, we could lose an important case. And if you take a look at the experience in New York State, they've just redone the whole discovery rules. They put in the same rule that our Mass Supreme Judicial Courts have put in place, and they just reversed all of it because it caused so much problem. We had a case that came down last week, the Gordon case came down from our Mass Supreme Court. Very difficult case for us to digest. It has to do with expert witnesses. And what the court in Massachusetts said, you can't just have, and I'll quote, you can't have any old expert come in and testify to something. What happened was there was a case that was brought against somebody, and the technician, the lab person who did the actual work was no longer available, so the lab sent a representative to interpret the results. And the court said, well, the Sixth Amendment allows what we call the right to confrontation, to confront witnesses. So what that means now is that if we have a cold case, we do have a couple that we really actually call unresolved cases now. If we have an unresolved case, the one I'm thinking of now is from 36 years ago. The medical examiner who did the autopsy is deceased. The lab techs are no longer available. How do we now bring that case forward? We're scrambling to see how we can do that. I see my old friend, Detective Lieutenant, retired State Police Elaine Gill here. Elaine worked on some tremendous cases. One of them actually we're bringing forward is a case that Elaine was the original detective on, and we'll be bringing that case forward this year. Those are just some of the things that you may not see every day in the newspaper, but certainly cause challenges for us. Other challenges for us continue to be, and I know the sheriff will mention this because he's done tremendous work in the area of mental health and substance use disorder. You may recall, I mentioned last year when I was the police chief in Salem, from 2009 to 2014, after a long career, we were the first department in Eastern Mass, or maybe across the Commonwealth, that actually brought clinical social workers and integrated them as part of our mission. Now we're seeing really tremendous results. Those are the kinds of things that I think move law enforcement forward. As I said, I think we're very blessed here in the Commonwealth. Something quickly on ICE. I know that it's been a topic of a lot of conversation. I'm not here to say or criticize ICE, just to tell you what the challenges have been. When ICE picks up people in the community, and we certainly don't want criminals in our midst, it does make it difficult sometimes for our office and police officers to get folks to come forward, particularly types of crimes that are behind closed doors, for instance, domestic violence. We have a lot of victims that won't come forward because of their immigration status. That's very difficult for us. We do try to let people know that we don't ask immigration status. ICE certainly has a job to do. I'm not here to criticize them, but it does have an impact on how we do our job. Some of the scams that we're seeing, particularly with Bitcoin machines. We did a public service announcement last year with a woman from Salem, a law school graduate who fell victim to a Bitcoin scam, and as she's feeding $13,000 in cash into a Bitcoin machine at a gas station in Salem, she has a scammer on the phone who's convincing her so persuasively, and she's actually saying to herself, I can't believe I'm doing this, this doesn't seem right, and it certainly wasn't. The city of Gloucester this week is voting in a city ordinance where they are going to ban Bitcoin machines from Gloucester. It's a bold step. And if you take a look at the crimes that have taken place last calendar year in Essex County, we estimate our loss of about $11 million, mostly people that are in the elderly cohort. It's an epidemic right now, so I salute Gloucester for stepping forward, and my office assisted them with that as well. I'm going to take 1 minute of the last bit of my time and just give you a day in the life of the DA. Some of the things that I've worked on just in the last couple of weeks. We did a protocol on a 13-year-old girl who was killed riding in a stolen car. Very difficult case in Marblehead, you may have seen it. Lots of other parts to that. We have a child fatality review coming up that we do quarterly. I'm speaking at a Veterans Treatment Court. We have some really great success at the Veterans Treatment Court up in Lynn. Certainly always addressing gang violence. We had some new ADAs come on. We did some training for them. Working with Senator Bruce Taft on some wrong-way driver interventions. We've seen some terrible crashes. We've got some good things too. We've run camps. We've run learn to swim programs. With the DA's office, it's not always about prosecution. It's about making communities healthy. Thank you to the business community. I really appreciate what you do. You've been great partners to all of us, and thanks to the chamber.
Thank you again to the district attorney. It's always great to have him here to speak with our members, and we appreciate all your support. Thank you very much. I'd like to call up our next speaker. Before I do, I just want to mention Gretchen Brodsky is here. So I'm quite ready with her. She told me she wanted to make sure to say this, and she wanted to make sure to say happy birthday to the sheriff. So. We didn't want anyone to say that, but we want to make sure we wish you a happy birthday. With that being said, I want to welcome our Sheriff Kevin Coppinger.
Which used to be the public information officer. Thank you very much, and thank you for the birthday wishes. It's much appreciated. I too just want to echo my thank yous to the Chamber of Commerce. I mean, this is one of the better events that I attend every year because of the interaction and just the activity here. This group is always it's always on emails. I think that's from Joe. I think whoever does that, he brings my email count up every day. But it's amazing the collaboration you folks have. And I also want to echo what the DA said about the collaboration between these folks at the table here, between the police, the DA's office, and the sheriff. Paul's 100% correct. We work together, we talk together frequently, and remember, crime has no borders. So what happens in Andover, North Andover, is going to affect what I have in Middleton at the jail, and then Paul's office has to prosecute it. But when we talk to other folks in either other counties here in Massachusetts or across the country, you don't get that collaboration between police, sheriffs, and DAs. Sometimes they see things a different way, and that affects public safety. So this group here is tremendous, and I'm proud to be part of it. So I just want to go over a couple quick updates briefly, but the first one I'm going to mention because this is a Chamber of Commerce, so I just want to give you an update. I've talked in the past about all the different programs, particularly the vocational programs we have up here at the farm up in Lawrence, now pre-release center. We had one for many, many years. We called it C-Tech. It was Cat 5, Cat 6 cabling. Well, as we all know, cabling's kind of going out the window because everything's wireless now, so we're winding that down. But we just picked up a grant, so we're starting a plumbing program to teach the inmates plumbing. So those of you in the business community, or those of you that are homeowners, I had to do it last year. You ever have to call a plumber? First of all, you got to find one. Second one, you can afford it. So it's a nice little thing for the inmates to have at least another option to come look at. So that's going to kick off sometime, hopefully in the fall, the next few weeks, we'll get that rolling. So the other two things I wanted to talk about, and it's a little awkward because, part of me is going to stand up here and brag, but then I say to myself, well, I am an elected politician, so don't politicians brag, so the hell with it, I'm going to do it anyway. But we've had a pretty good year at the Essex County Sheriff's Department. Just 2 weeks ago, we were able to host what they call a peer exchange on a medication-assisted treatment program we have in the jail. Now, I've talked about that in past years here. That's where somebody comes in suffering from substance use disorders, whether it's alcohol or drugs, and combine that with mental health. I think Paul mentioned the mental health too. Those two issues, substance use disorder and mental health, in my humble opinion, I think this table will agree with me, those are the two of the root causes of crime in our communities. And if we don't address them correctly, crime's going to go back up, quality of life in your neighborhood is going to go down. And we all know that's not good for society. So we were actually chosen by a group that comes out of Washington to the Bureau of Justice Assistance. We actually got some federal money despite the current administration cutting it back. I think they were looking left and we took the money out of the right pocket, so don't tell anybody I did that, please. But we got some nice national recognition on the program we have for medication-assisted treatment. We had 7 counties from across the country that were invited to come here to Middleton and really duplicate what we do. We had counties from Minneapolis, Minnesota, Madison, Wisconsin, Ventura County, California, Arlington, Virginia. Can't remember the name of the county. It's right outside Atlanta, Georgia, Franklin, Maine, and I'm forgetting one. But these folks came for 2 days. They watched how we did our medication-assisted treatment program. We're one of the only ones in the country that actually took a methadone clinic. I know there's one in Lawrence, there might be one in other cities and towns around here. Took it outside what is usually a community-based program, and we put it inside a correctional institution. And that's very unique, and we had to go through all kinds of regulations. We got our own license, and this last year we extended that license out to our pre-release center, so now we don't have to take the inmates out to the local methadone clinic, which number one is a safety factor. Number two, there's a lot of folks that go to these centers, and interacting with inmates there, it's a security concern of ours because the drug dealers know where everybody is, and they're going to try and either get some contraband onto the inmates to smuggle it back into the jail. That's one of the last things we need. But this has been very, very successful for us. And last year, one of the other things that we did, now we have medication supervised withdrawal. This is something new, and I won't go into all the legal or the medical pieces of it, but right now, if somebody comes in that's going through the DTs, and they come into the jail, we now, under a doctor's supervision, we can use some of this medication-assisted treatment to help the individual ease the pain of the DTs. And once they get stabilized, we can put them into the regular medication-assisted treatment program to get them on a regimen of meds so they don't go back and recidivate with, go back to the opioids or fentanyl, whatever the drug of choice may be. So that's been very, very successful for us. And the third piece that I want to mention is our STAR program. I've talked about that before. We have 2 offices, and by the way, STAR stands for Supporting Transition and Reentry. We have one in Lynn and one in Lawrence, and they have been booming in terms of business. We average about 150 people a day now between the 2 centers. It's open days and evenings. And in Lynn, we used to be in the multi-service center, and this past year we outgrew our accommodations down there, and now we just moved 2 blocks over. So we have a nice wide open space. We put a computer lab in there, we do drug testing. North Andover Community College comes into both centers and helps with the inmates with some of their programs. Because the inmates can actually do a lot of the programs inside the correctional institutions themselves. And after they get out, they go to these reentry centers where a lot of those programs, they can continue with them with partners like North Andover Community College, Spectrum Health Services, and a lot of local community providers. So they have something, and they have a place to go, and they have some direction. Everybody gets a navigator, which is big brother, big sister, so they can, if they don't show up, or if they don't get their medication, someone's gonna come up and say, hey Joe, or hey Mary, aren't you supposed to be here, there, or everywhere else, and we'll get them going. So that's been very, very good for us. At 150 a day, that's a good number. And just to refresh your memory, it's not just people who are in the criminal justice system. It started in Lynn, and then Lawrence Police jumped on the same thing. They came to us and said, can we take people off the streets that we know are gonna get arrested one of these days, and we know they're gonna get in jail? Can we get them and maybe get them into the STAR program before they get into the criminal justice system? And our answer was, bring them on in. And that's been very, very good for us too. So I think that helps the crime rate, particularly in those communities. And now to try to tie it all in together, let me show you, where sheriff's departments and correctional facilities are judged by recidivism rates. And I'm gonna be honest with you, when you look at recidivism rates, you can define it any way you want. So a couple of years ago, the Mass Sheriffs got together and we just decided, let's just get a standard rate so we're comparing apples to apples and not, apples to oranges, we're not gonna get an accurate count. So when you look at if they return to incarceration within a year of release. So if somebody gets arrested, comes into jail, and sits in the jail and does nothing, because we have all these programs I've talked about for years, but I can't force them on anybody. So if they want no part of that, they just want to wrap up this sentence, as we call it, recidivism rate, ballpark number, about 43%. That's high. If they come into the jail, they participate in the programs, and then they, what we call step down to the pre-release center. We said the men are up here in Lawrence, the women are over in Salisbury. If they continue that, and then continue further to the STAR programs in Lynn and Lawrence, that recidivism rate drops to approximately 20.1%. That's a pretty good number when you look at corrections nationwide. And I'm going to end by saying, as sheriff, I can stand up here and take all the accolades, but I've got to give the credit to the men and women that work for the Essex County Sheriff's Department. I'm blessed to have some really great staff that really just dive into these topics and these programs that we have, really give it all. So, the credit should go to them. They're 100% with it. I have to leave. I apologize. I have believe it or not, an inmate graduation at 9:30 at the jail. And President Glenn from Northern Essex is coming down to meet me there. This week we're going to recognize 164 inmates that have completed one of our programs with a certificate. And I think we have a handful that are actually going to get their high set degree, the high school equivalency, which is a big deal for them. And when you see people come up, some of these young men who dropped out of high school and they're coming through, we give them the cap and gown, they play the pomp and circumstance music and make a big deal of it. But they come up and they're amazed that they actually grab something because when you're in jail, obviously that's not the highlight of your life. So we give them a little carrot on the stick to get them to their graduation, get them out the door, get them in the STAR, and hopefully they never come back to see us and they become productive members of society. So thank you everybody, I appreciate it. I apologize I gotta go, but thank you. Thanks everybody.
Thank you again for our sheriff for being here again today. It's great to have him here each and every year for his support with the Merrimack Council. Thank you again. know, this time introducing our chiefs, again, I just want to thank each and every one of our chiefs for being here each and every year, and all of this support for all the years with all of our businesses and our communities. With our first speaker, I would like to introduce first Patrick Keefe, who's the Andover Police Chief. So welcome.
Good morning. I'd like to thank the Chamber for hosting this event. We greatly appreciate it. I'm very lucky to work with the people who left me. All of my fellow chiefs, I can call them in any instance. They'll be sending people over to my community to help me out. We go vice versa all the time. So we have a great working relationship. The DA, not all DAs are the same. In Essex County, we are very, very lucky. Our chiefs that are in some of the other different counties, they're already battling with their DA. It's like they're fighting against each other. Paula is one of the best guys to work with. We've always been lucky on our district attorneys. The relationships we have with them makes our job a lot easier. So all things, I appreciate that. And same with Kevin. Kevin's been great for us. Always helping out with what we call lockups. So when we, you arrest somebody overnight and going up to jail. So cooperative with that. Being the first one to go, I guess I got to pick a topic, because we all have the same kind of issues. So I'm going to just talk about quality of life stuff here in Andover. The biggest thing for Andover is, I call it manning the force. So since pre-COVID time, numbers were really high. COVID/2020 was our huge decline in people put in for the position of police officer. Recently, the last couple of years, it has increased, but we're still well behind pre-COVID time. That makes it very difficult for us to man. Andover alone has been down 5 officers for about the past 3 years. For being 5 officers, it's a whole shift. So if we can get back up to 100% manning, that allows me to put people in specialty positions in traffic units, community service, things like that, that people really get engaged to, and that's how I see the department. Why is this happening? Well, I think shift work is different. We all know we all have employees that like them Monday through Friday, coming on as a young person trying to work in law enforcement. You're working overnights, 4 days on, 3 days off. Not a lot of people like that right now. The other issue is the quality of candidates. It's last couple times I've hired like 2 here, 2 there. Just to get 5 good quality candidates, I have to go through about 20 applicants to get to those 5. And then those 5 sometimes things don't work out, so you end up getting 2. It's a difficult process. It takes a long time, and then you have to forecast the people you're losing because of retirement or injuries as well. So it's a juggle. It's a difficult process. It's getting better. If you're a civil service department like Andover is, and a couple other people on the table, how do we do it? We call for a list of civil service. Civil services found out that the people that out of civil service could hold their own exam, and they're able to hire a lot of workers in the civil service departments. So civil service has just changed what we call it to a hybrid thing where you can do a test, and you can actually have your own test as well, so you end up having 2 different lists. You can pull for the civil service list, you can pull for your local list. So it has increased the pool for us. The candidates are about the same, and the thing about those exams, we're all pulling from the same pool. So it's just us 5 different communities, we're all trying to fight over the same quality candidates as well. So hopefully this over time is going to change, we'll start getting back up. And increasing the force, make sure we have everybody reading. That's it. Again, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And you're good.
Thank you, Chief. We appreciate that. We're going to call next the Haverhill Police Chief, Robert Methuen. Welcome.
Good morning, distinguished members of the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce, our elected officials, business leaders, and community partners. It's both a privilege and a personal honor to be here with you today. First, I want to recognize Joe and Michael Bevilacqua. Their unwavering dedication to public safety and their efforts to connect law enforcement with the business community have been instrumental in building stronger bridges between our departments and the people we serve. On behalf of the Haverhill Police Department, all of us chiefs, thank you for your leadership and continued partnership. I'd also like to take a moment to acknowledge Haverhill Mayor Melinda Barrett. Throughout her years as a city councilor and now as a mayor, she's been a tireless advocate for public safety. Her leadership has ensured that our police department has the tools, resources, and visions to meet the growing needs of our city. I have worked with many elected officials over the years, but I can say without hesitation that I have never seen a mayor more committed to both their constituents and to the men and women who serve in public safety. Her leadership has set the standard, and Haverhill is fortunate to have it. Thank you, Mayor. As a department, we hold ourselves to the highest professional standards. The Haverhill Police Department is accredited by both CALEA, which is the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies, and MPAC, which is the Massachusetts Police Accreditation Commission. This places us among only 3 municipal police departments in the Commonwealth to achieve national accreditation. Accreditation is not simply a plaque on the wall. It is proof that our policies and practices meet the most rigorous professional standards in the field. It reflects our commitment to accountability, transparency, and building trust with the community we serve. Recruitment and retention have become challenges nationwide. Departments across the country are struggling to attract qualified candidates and keep experienced officers. In Haverhill, we decided to address this head-on with innovation. We created our 4-and-4 schedule, which is working 4 days on with 4 days off. This has been transformative. It promotes better work-life balance, boosts morale, and makes us more competitive in attracting new officers. We also continue to support our officers with a full-time, on-staff director of officer wellness who assist our officers with mental and physical well-being. And we're recently granted a very generous gift from local businessman Charlie Hanna of Cedars Foods, where we were able to build a new state-of-the-art fitness center for our officers. For the first time in decades, the Haverhill Police Department is fully staffed. That is an achievement that cannot be overstated and has made our department a model that others are now looking to replicate. And we are seeing the results of that investment. Over the past 5 years, overall crime in Haverhill has decreased by 21%. This year alone, we're on pace for an additional 23% reduction in crime. These numbers represent real change. Families who feel safer walking in their neighborhoods, businesses that can thrive without fear of disruption, and a community that has confidence in its police department. Our work in Haverhill has also gained recognition beyond our city. Last fall, I had the honor of presenting at the International Association of Chiefs of Police Conference alongside the Los Angeles Police Department. I was able to highlight our community violence intervention programs. Programs that address the root causes of crime and provide young people with alternatives to gangs and violence. By partnering with organizations such as UTEC, the Essex County Sheriff's Department, and the Essex County District Attorney's Office, we have created pathways to education, vocational training, mental health services, and essential resources like housing and food security. The results speak for themselves. We have seen young adults who were once at risk of falling into cycles of crime redirected onto paths of opportunity and purpose. Just as we learned during the opioid crisis, enforcement alone cannot solve those challenges. True lasting progress comes when we address underlying issues in partnership with the community. Every success story represents not just a victory for the individual, but a win for all of us as a society. Another major challenge we face is mental health. Calls for service related to mental health continue to rise across the country, and Haverhill is no exception. 6 years ago, we became one of the first departments in the region to bring on a licensed full-time mental health clinician. Last year alone, that clinician assisted more than 800 individuals in crisis. Without that intervention, many of these individuals would have fallen into the revolving door system, receiving neither the help they needed nor the stability required to move forward. I believe strongly that mental health will remain one of the most critical challenges of our time. It will require the collective effort of law enforcement, government, healthcare providers, and the community to meet it effectively. Partnerships are the foundation of everything we do. Today, the Haverhill Police Department collaborates with more than 40 social service agencies, faith-based organizations, educational institutions, and nonprofits. These partnerships are not symbolic. They are essential to addressing the underlying social issues that drive crime and to improving quality of life in our city. When our national accreditation team conducted the review last summer, they specifically commended Haverhill for the strength of these partnerships, calling us a model for community collaboration. That recognition is not just for the police department. It is for every organization and every leader who stepped forward to work with us for the common good. At the end of the day, policing is not just about enforcing laws. It's about building trust and fostering relationships. No technology or innovation can replace the value of personal connections. The partnerships we build, the business leaders, educators, social service providers, with faith communities, and with each of you in the room are what make our community stronger and safer. And it's those relationships built long before a crisis occurs that sustain trust and cooperation when challenges inevitably arise. In closing, I want to extend my sincere appreciation to all of you. Your support of public safety, your recognition of the importance of collaboration, and your commitment to our community are the reasons we're able to succeed. By working together, law enforcement, city government, the business community, and our many partners, we are not only reducing crime, we are creating a safer, more vibrant, and more prosperous community for everyone. Thank you, and I look forward to continuing the important work alongside all of you.
Thank you again, Chief Bistoni. I'd like to next call up, for the first time with us, the new Lawrence Police Chief, Chief Aguilar. Welcome.
Of course, I have to follow a chief who wrote a beautiful speech. I was unaware that I was going to speak today, but I thank you. I want to thank the chamber for the invitation. I think that us all being here together today is a testament to the teamwork and that it takes to make a fruitful community overall. I want to thank the mayor for being here and showing support as he always has to our police department. One of the first things that the mayor told me when we were going through the process of the police chief is basically, let me know what you need and you have my full support. And that has been, the case all along. We have done many, many beautiful things in the Lawrence Police Department. I just want to let you know with regards to crime in and of itself, Part 1 crimes continue to decline. We had an unfortunate weekend, last weekend, where unfortunately we had 2 homicides. But when you compare that to the years past, we have seen approximately 77% reduction in homicide, and we have seen a huge reduction with aggressive Part 1 crimes. The petty crimes have been stabilized. This is due to, in large part, to many of the programs that we instituted just recently. First, I'd like to start with the recognition that, as my colleagues have spoken to, recruitment is a national issue right now for several reasons. Police recruitment is at an all-time low. I think that many communities are really seeing a huge challenge insofar as recruitment and retention. That has changed for us, at the very least. Right now, we have 5 people, 5 police officers in the academy. We posted for 8 police officers, and we've gotten overwhelmingly responsible with 35 viable candidates, which is an uptick from what we have seen in the past. Usually, you'll have, for every position that's available, you have a 3%, 2 to 3 people for every 1 position. So that was, when you look at the quality of the candidates, I think that was amazing for us. That's due in large part, we have a brand new building that is hopefully will be turning keys over to us back in February. It's a beautiful building, smart building, and I think that it is something that is the result of a collaborative effort, state and local effort to provide us a police department that we need. It's something that's going to be, something of a source of pride for our community for many, many years to come. So with that said, the city of Lawrence right now, and we are happy to be part of everything that it takes in order to sustain and to contribute to its upward mobility, has seen hundreds of millions and millions of dollars in investment right now. The downtown is thriving. The real estate market is hot, and that's due in large part because of that. I think that we, in order to do our part, we established several units. I created the quality of life unit that deals with the vagrancy issues downtown. It's focused just specifically on commercial, even though we have commercial and residential unit mixed units. They concentrate down there. We have seen some robust enforcement in that particular area. And I think that everybody that comes in to visit our community, visit our restaurants, now feels a whole lot safer. I mean, we do have multiple officers and multiple programs in place to sustain that growth and to keep that going. I also started a traffic enforcement unit that also focuses on the issues of congestion and traffic flow and the like. And I think that you see that as well downtown because you're always going to have free-flowing traffic out there and police presence. So again, we're showing and demonstrating our commitment to the community, demonstrating our commitment to businesses, our commitment to the growth and to the youth of the city. We have citizens academies, we have junior academies for the young kids, and I think that there's a lot of transparency, a lot of cohesion now with the community, and that's demonstrated in what is kind of an anomaly, which is a reduction in arrests and a reduction in crime simultaneously. Usually they go the opposite way. Higher arrests, lower crime. They never work that way when it comes together. So I'm very optimistic as to how that is looking and how that's going to result, as far as what the trajectory of the city is. So again, I just want to tout, and just you give recognition to the relationship that I have with all the police officers here, with DA Tucker's office, always supportive. He's got an amazing group of men and women that support us in any particular way. The door is always open. I just don't know when you find the time for that, but it's something that we certainly cherish. And again, it goes back to our relationship, both with the mayor's office, with the business community, with many of you that are in your companies, and it's something that gives us the support and it gives us the morale and the boost that we need to continue working hard for you. And it is a pleasure for us. It is a pleasure to see not only our city, but this complete, this area in the trajectory that it's headed to. We're very, very proud to be part of that, and we're going to continue to work very, very hard in that regard moving forward. So again, for next year I'll have something ready for you, but for now, I really appreciate your time. I appreciate the chamber inviting us over and hosting this beautiful event. And I want you to know that the Lawrence Police Department stands ready to work with you at any time, anywhere. So let us know what we can do to help you and to be part of your team and to move you, your company, and your objectives forward. I appreciate you for your time. Thank you so much.
this past Friday, I was walking in downtown Lawrence, and I met the chief, and I can already mention that he is there for the business community, so I just want to say thank you to Chief Agnew. Thank you again. With that being said, I'm going to call up our next speaker, so I'm going to do in Police Chief, Chief Agnew. Welcome, Chief.
Good morning. First, I want to say thank you to the Chamber of Commerce. I want to thank all of our business leaders that are here today and our community partners. Specifically, I want to thank Joe and Mike at the library for such wonderful support. We always know that you're there for us, and we appreciate your efforts. My name is Scott McNamara. I'm the police chief in the city of Methuen. I have been for the past 4 years. Today, I want to celebrate the remarkable synergy between our public safety efforts and the vibrant businesses in the community that strengthens our city. Your thriving businesses generate tax dollars that fund our public safety investments, creating a safe environment that attracts more businesses and fuels economic growth in Methuen. It's a true symbiotic relationship. And when I talk about tax dollars, I want to tell you what the real difference is. Just 4 years ago, I inherited a department that was 80 sworn in terms of police officers. Today, that with the help of my boss who's here today, Mayor Beauregard, together with the help of our city council, we built our department from 80 strong to 102 strong today. And what a difference that has made. That's allowed us to shift our entire model from one that was purely reactive to one that was simply the 911 calls would roll in and officers would be dispatched, and we worked in that reactive base to try to deal with the pervasive issues that we're encountering with. Today, with the addition of those 22 new police officers, we're able to attack crime from a proactive stance. Now you'll see officers that are untethered from the police radio, that are assigned specifically to neighborhoods. That's why you see police officers now on mountain bikes making connections with residents in those neighborhoods and business owners, making a real difference. Finally, we have a robust narcotics unit where we have plainclothes officers that every day they focus on the pervasive narcotics trade in our city. We have officers now that are part of our traffic unit, officers that focus on the pervasive complaints we get about on our roadways in terms of aggressive driving and speeding. We're able to focus on harm reduction efforts that make our streets safer. Those are things we couldn't do just 4 years ago, but through economic growth, we've been able to make that investment in our department and make a real difference. I want you to know that our department is deeply committed to community engagement, and not just the formal programs that you may be familiar with. One of the things we do in the city of Methuen is we encourage our officers to engage in something called officer-initiated citizen engagement. And what I mean by that is officers in the city of Methuen are encouraged at least once a day to get out of their police cruisers and do something along the lines of go for a 20 or 30-minute walk, be it in one of our business areas or it could be a residential neighborhood. The idea is to make a face-to-face connection with the people that we serve so that we can learn how to serve them better. When I challenged our officers to do that, one of the pushbacks I got were from officers on our midnight shift. And the claim was, well, how are we going to make those engagement efforts? Work from midnight till 8 in the morning. And I challenged the lieutenant who ran that shift at the time and said, well, think about it and come back to me. One of the great ideas that he came back with was, what about children at a bus stop? So today, what you'll see is police officers stopping at our bus stops, chatting with kids in the morning, or visiting with our senior centers, seniors at our senior center, or even joining children that they might find in a front yard. Anything from joining children in shooting hoops or jumping rope. These small moments, they help us build trust and help us understand our community's needs. We also have those structured initiatives, the ones that you might be more familiar with. Just the past couple of years, we launched what we call Operation Freeze Patrol, where we have our very own police department operated ice cream truck that rolls through our neighborhoods handing out ice cream. And we do that all summer. It certainly brings joy to children, but sometimes I think the adults actually enjoy it more. I'm thrilled to announce one of our newest efforts. We're soon going to have our first comfort dog. And I apologize if I haven't mentioned that to you sooner, boss, but that's the direction we're going in. I knew you'd love it. We've already selected our handler, Officer Kaylee Ferretta. We're about to select the puppy from a litter of golden retrievers, and we'll soon ask our community to help name our new ambassador and provide emotional support and help deepen our community ties. Our local businesses and organizations are vital partners. Some of the formal relationships we have, one is of course our Starbucks location in the city of Methuen. They host our Coffee with the Cop events where they allow us some space to connect with residents and speak to them about the concerns that they may have. In the past couple of weeks, I met with the new owners of our two McDonald's locations. That owner wanted to reach out and learn how he could better support the city of Methuen. I put that owner in touch with the Methuen Arlington Neighborhood Association. That's a group that helps underprivileged children in the city, and also put him in contact with our senior center. I'm proud to report that connection has already paid positive dividends. They're supporting events that mean a lot to us in our city. Texas Roadhouse consistently backs us with our Tip a Cop events, where officers serve as wait staff, and we help raise funds for a wonderful organization called Cops for Kids with Cancer. Another example of this is just last week, Cardabella's Funeral Home. They hosted a public safety luncheon. They brought together police officers and firefighters from both the city of Lawrence and Methuen. And we had a wonderful lunch and a heartfelt meal that we all enjoyed together. Another example of this is St. Anne's Residential Group Home for children. They routinely reach out and reciprocate the support we provide them, strengthening our partnership and showing the mutual care that we all have for our community. You know, I could go on forever about the businesses and residents who, as a matter of routine, provide meals for our officers. Our social media pages littered with examples of businesses stopping by, providing lunch, dinner, or simply children stopping by, offering letters of support for our officers. It means a great deal to us, and we're so grateful for it. You know, sometimes we get criticism that time spent with children or seniors detracts from the serious issues like the narcotics trade. To that I say, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. Building relationships makes us more effective at keeping Methuen safe. It creates an environment where businesses can thrive. Your tax contributions, they fund our officers, they fund our equipment and our programs, enabling us to maintain a secure city that attracts new businesses and further strengthens our economy and public safety. But what I want to stress most is our gratitude. Your appreciation for the support you provide us and the partnerships you provide, it fuels our commitment. Together, we're not just keeping Methuen safe, we're building a community where businesses flourish, families feel secure, and everyone has a voice. Thank you for your partnerships, your generosity, and your trust. Let's keep this symbiotic relationship strong, making Methuen and the Merrimack Valley a place we're all proud to call home. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief, we appreciate that. And I'd like to call our final speaker today, Chief Brady of North Andover.
Chief Becky, I'll try to run to that. Thank you, Chamber, for having us again, once again this year. It's always a pleasure to come here. Last year, the DA said that sometimes you have to land a plane in a small town, and talk about some of the tragic events that happened in North Andover last year. I'm proud to report that during one of the incidents, we put our officers in for a bravery award, the Trooper Hannah Bravery Award, and the two Lawrence police officers that helped us out, and they have been given that award. They're going to be presented it, I think the 20th next month. So that's gratitude for their bravery and how they handled a really bad situation. And then 2025, it's been kind of similar. We had a tragic officer-involved shooting recently, and I will say that the partnership we have with the DA's office has been amazing. DA Tucker sent us his detectives, his resources, and helped us out immensely in getting through that. I want to recognize my town manager, Melissa Rodriguez, who was instrumental in going through that whole thing with us. You probably saw her on the news with us, walking hand in hand, trying to get through the situation. And then as Chief Pistone said, it's the mental health aspect too that we have to deal with when something like that happens.
And, you know, you can't imagine what's going on in your officers' heads until something like that happens, and then you can actually see it. And so the mental health aspect really came into play for us, and it's still ongoing for some of my officers, trying to figure out what just happened. But I do want to tell you one story about the camaraderie and the teamwork that all of us have together. On the day-to-day operations, it's not uncommon to see North Andover detectives in any one of the communities over here, where their detectives in our station working together. We have the city cameras that have gone up in pretty much every community. And, you know, like the sheriff said, that crime just doesn't happen, it doesn't know the borders. So it's nice to be able to have cameras that can track people from Mass Avenue, North Andover, through the city of Lawrence, onto 28 Methuen, or downtown Haverhill, or into Andover, just to see where exactly this is going, what's taking place. But the example I want to give you was what we had, and if I get too far, just tell me to be quiet. That I'm really proud of, that I want to just tell everyone was the jewelry store robbery we had in North Andover, Milos area. We had some suspects go in there with guns, masks on, and robbed the jewelry store with a significant amount of money. What led after that was a pursuit that was joined us in Lawrence on Marston Street. The suspects crashed and fled into the woods, right along the highway. So now it's North Andover's chase in the city of Lawrence on the Methuen border. So Chief Aguilar was on scene with me, sent his resources down. Chief McNamara sent his down right on the doing line there. We're all working collectively with the Mass State Police. And what people don't see is, while we're all down there doing that, who's covering the town? Hi, Chief Bisnoni, Chief Keefe, I need some manpower here quickly. And everyone at this table stepped up. My phone was ringing all day long, the help we had, the resources we had. And just so you all see it firsthand, those suspects are in custody. The sheriff has some nice housing for them right now. And we are just continuing to march along, and just the teamwork and the camaraderie we have together is second to none. I know other chiefs admire it. When we go to the meetings, I've said it before, we all sit together and work collectively. So again, thank you for having us here. We're out working as hard as we can for you to make the community safe, and we'll see you next year.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief. And I think that's one of the things that really stands out to me is the cooperation, the collaboration with these chiefs. When things like the jewelry robbery happen, you can't plan for that. You have to get right into action. And when the leadership of each one of these chiefs, district attorney and the sheriff, were able to have a great system in place. So thank you so much for your leadership. And I want to thank all of our speakers again for being here today.
We have time for a couple of
No? With that being said, I just want to say thank you to the district attorney, the sheriff, the chiefs for being here today again. All Pro Electric, National Grid, Norwood Insurance Agency, and Pride Sector EMS, thank you for your support. And thank you all for that being said, we look forward to the upcoming programs, and the chamber can ever be able to support, let us know. Thank you all for joining us today.